Believe it or
try?
not, it's a garage.
It is a garage.
Nice. It doesn't look like one. Looks like you're in like a little studio.
Just a little behind the scenes. Only you know that, man. No.
Oh, good, dude. All right, I'm ready when you guys are.
All right, perfect. Good. Welcome to Two Balls and a Mic. Today we have the pleasure to be having somebody from the first team of San Diego Loyal who wears numero uno, and made his debut on this last match against Reno, Mr. Austin Guerrero. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, definitely, man. And it's great to be able to talk with somebody not just that represents San Diego, not just represents San Diego Loyal, but is from here, from where we're at,
the
man.
hood, bro.
I mean,
Yeah.
At least Chula.
well, man, I saw Otay Ranch on there. I don't know how hood that is exactly. But yeah, we want to talk about, your journey, man, and how it all came back home. And let's go all the way back. Why did you choose goalkeeping, man? Because
Really, I started playing goalkeeper because my big brother.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up playing like Bonita Rebels and surf and clubs like that, and he was always trying to get better. So he just like would make me stand in the garage in front of our house,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like our goal. And he would just shoot. He would just practice shooting, and I would have to block it. And so that's kind of how I became goalkeeper.
I mean, if I had I didn't grow up with a garage door. That seems like the perfect place to practice. And then now it's like, hey, the parent. I don't know if did your parents get upset whenever the ball would pass, or?
Yeah, I mean, it would nail the house sometimes, but I mean, honestly, both my parents worked a ton, so it was like my brother and I were just hanging out at home with just being kids, with not a lot to do. So we'd come home from school and take out the soccer ball and knock it around and play other sports too, but soccer was the main one.
So what was your experience like growing up in soccer? You said you played for the Surf and you played here locally. What was your soccer experience like, and maybe even traveling down to Tijuana sometimes, or how was that when you played?
When I was really little too, like we would go down to TJ, my brother and I, and some other friends with my dad, and he would take, I can't remember the name of the park, but there's tons of pickup soccer there. Mm-hmm. And so my brother's 4 years older than me. And so I couldn't really run with the big guys. And so they would just we would put up goals that were like trash cans.
Yeah. So
I would jump in between the trash cans and like do what I could to like, I'd be playing against guys 4 years older than me, like crying, you know what I mean? But so like we would go down to TJ sometimes and play. But organized wise, I started playing at Bonita Rebels when I was 7, I believe. And then I moved to Surf when I was 9. And I stayed at Surf from 9 to 18 when I graduated high school.
Yeah, so I mean, Surf is one of the biggest like youth clubs at least here in San Diego. So how was your experience with Surf traveling around the country? So I mean, you probably played like Dallas Cups, State Cup, or any other tournaments like that. How was that experience as a kid?
Surf
traveling?
was awesome. Yeah, Surf was awesome. It was a huge stepping stone for me, because what that club kind of allowed to happen for me was I got to get exposure, and we got to play in those big tournaments like, obviously Surf Cup, but then we traveled for, Dallas Cup, Disney, just all these different showcases. I honestly I was really fortunate to play with Surf. And then from there, back then there was tons of ODP stuff. So I got picked up and played with Cal South and then Region 4. And then like the youth national team stuff, I got to travel and see the world, because essentially Surf just kind of put me on the map where coaches want to see the best teams play. And at the time, Surf was that,
Have you had a bread and butter per se? One thing that I noticed, I was there at the game against Reno and saw you warming up with Jake a little bit. One thing that caught my eye, because I used to be a former goalkeeper, but one thing that the little things, tus despejes, your passes are amazing, like stunning. Have you always been good at that? Is that something you worked on, or what else do you consider maybe to be your best trait as a goalkeeper?
I appreciate that, but so I grew up actually with a Latin coach. I always had a goalkeeper coach that I would work with on the side like my entire life. Really, once I decided to become a goalkeeper, I think I was training specifically as a goalkeeper at about 9, 10 years old. And so he always stressed like how important it was to be able to play with your feet. And so he played down in Mexico. He was a field player, but I mean, he's a very knowledgeable guy. His name's Tomas Serrano. He's very local. He's like a local legend, especially in Chula Vista. And so he like taught me how to hit a side volley. And so that's where I really picked it up. But yeah, like playing with your feet, I think is such a major factor for us, you know?
Yeah, especially now in this modern day where, you know, the goalkeeper has to act like a fifth, fourth, depending how the formation is, defender, but be able to have that outlet. And so that's super important and vital to have. And that's something that, you know, goalkeepers don't get really taught or practice that much to hone that skill, but something that I noticed on the pitch. Another thing I did notice though is your communication skills. You are cheering on if the ball is on the other side of the on the other side of the pitch and their side of the goal. You're cheering everybody on, just screaming and communicating and moving people. Again, is that something that they had to get out of you?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of always just, I don't know, I'm pretty energetic guy, you know, and I think that carries on in the field a lot. And I don't know, ever since I could remember, I was just vocal on the field, whether it was, you know, telling a defender to slide left or right, or, you know, to step up or whatever it may be, or even just kind of, and I think it's something that at times we as players get so caught up in the match that it's easy to stop being vocal, you know, especially guys that are really in the mix, you know, and getting tons of touches in the midfield. So if there's anything I can do to help the team organizationally, or even just like a couple words of motivation or whatever, or good ball or well done, or quick and short, concise communication, I think if I can do anything to help with that, I it's a major factor, I think, for a goalkeeper.
Is that usually how you communicate and how loud it is? Obviously, you're in an empty stadium. How much is that a factor in communicating with everybody who's upfield, or are you able to get that?
I think it's huge because the reality is in a game like Jake's game against Vegas, you know, he can't, if he's yelling at Joe, the reality is when the stadium's sold out, like Joe's not hearing him, you know, and we can yell and yell and yell and yell and yell, but it's bits and pieces that they're going to grab. And so playing in an empty stadium, I think all of our, I think John's very vocal. I think Jake's vocal as well. I think it's an advantage in a way for us because everyone can hear every one of our players can hear us. It's a huge factor. It's you can change the game with that, I think. And unfortunately, it didn't really help us against Reno, but yeah, I think communication's major key for goalkeepers.
Yeah, so you had your run also for a few teams over in Mexico, particularly in Puebla. I was wondering how different is like the intensity of a practice for like a professional soccer team like in the Mexican League compared to like a team in the USL.
It's different. You know, it's a different kind of intensity. I think the USL is composed of guys that are usually on an upward trajectory and maybe a little bit of a younger group. And so I think the intensity in the USL training is way higher than what you'd see in like a Mexican first division, because I'm not to say that they're not flying and tackling and yelling and getting after it, but the speed of which the USL players train at, and like pressure in particularly, like just putting pressure on the ball constantly is, and especially with us, it's like, it's a theme, you know what I mean? It's a theme. And so I think that USL practices are honestly a little bit more intense. But with that said, like playing for Puebla or when I was at Tigres, it was like you're preparing for games that are going to be seen by pretty much everyone in the country, right? Yeah. And two, you got 60,000 people at a stadium, and you've got about 5,000 psycho fans that are just like, if you don't perform, you're going to hear about it in one way or another. Mm-hmm. So it's like that also carries into their training sessions. But at that level, I think most of the guys are just very well-formed professionals and have just been through it and have played at such a high level that the training sessions are just a little bit, it's a very high pace, but the intensity is different. It's different. Mm-hmm. But both intensities are very high, but it's a different kind of intensity, I think.
No, definitely. And it definitely shows that whatever you guys are doing, even here at the USL, everybody is in tip-top shape. You don't go and into 116-degree weather and play a game, come back, a couple of days after and run it back. And it's a testament to your guys' routines, the diets, and all the training staff as well, and having that be prepared for you guys. Take us into a little bit of the training. Obviously, it's yourself. You have Jake Finlinson, and then we have John Kempen coming back from his little break, I guess, now joining back with the team. How is that dynamic with the three of you? I mean, for those that aren't goalkeepers, like it's that there's a little like pocket of family that you have within the team. The goalkeepers, they you speak to each other in a different language. Take us in there, and what's that like, man?
Honestly, like I've been in groups of goalkeepers where it can get almost spiteful at times, or like maybe this guy's playing and like, oh, F that guy, or I'm better, or this or that. But with this particular group, they're both before the fact that they're both very good goalkeepers, they're very good people. Like they're very honest, hardworking, genuine guys. And like when you have that, it just creates an incredible training environment. Like you saw our video probably with Matt Hall, and it's just kind of like, if John makes a huge save, I'm like, fuck, John just made a huge save. Great save, John, but now I got to make a huge save. And that kind of creates an environment where the competition, we're all just getting better every day because of that. And the dynamic between the group it's very good. It's very good and it's positive. I think the best word to use for our dynamic and our goalkeeper trainer, Matt Hall, as well, is, I think San Diego Loyal has to have a culture, and we're slowly growing that. And our goalkeeper group has its own little mini subculture, and I think that's something that's going to continue to grow. And I hope that, almost like I want San Diego Loyal goalkeeper culture to kind of become like a legacy, where it's just kind of like just the hardest, tough-nosed goalkeepers in the league, and I think that's something that we're getting towards. We're heading in that direction.
And you could tell, man, because Matt, again, I've seen some of the stuff that he's doing and some of the things that he makes you guys do, and he's really, really good coach, and you guys are also responding well and stepping up to that challenge. And again, it's really hard to speak on a sample size of 9 games in total, where in those 9 games there's been the 3 of you have had the chance to be in goal. But no, it's really good to have that and to want to leave that legacy.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said earlier, you've gotten to travel around the world, obviously, thanks to soccer. But when you heard that there was going to be a USL team in San Diego as San Diego Loyal, were you in another team and were you excited about it, or were you kind of like, I'm going to play there for sure if I have the chance?
I think I was more like, oh shit, I got to get in shape, because I had been in Reno for a few weeks, and unfortunately there through the farm, like they're connected to San Jose. And so they kept dropping down 2 other goalkeepers. And so the opportunity to play just wasn't really there. And I decided at that time that I was going to head home and kind of, figure my life, what was next, or, maybe start coaching or do this or that. And so it'd been about maybe 4 or 5 months at this point where I was where I'd left Reno. And so I started to see like these San Diego Loyal announcements coming up, and I just was just kind of like, man, I think I could do this, and so I slowly just started to get in shape and started working my ass off. And I actually went through the trial process where I went to the invitational like combine I actually had to go through 2 of those and then got an invitation to preseason. But the original thought when I saw there was going to be a team in San Diego Loyal was, damn, I got to get ready. You know, I'm not gonna not be a part of that, or at least not put my best foot forward to be a part of essentially the first professional soccer team in San Diego.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, as that ended up did happen. There we go. It did happen that there was a team, and you know, you worked hard, you went through the trial, you worked, and then you got the call, and eventually you got the start. You got the number 1 jersey. It's a beautiful purple kit. But then we're just gonna go into the post. I said, tough to put into words what it meant playing for my city this past Saturday night. Even more difficult to swallow the results. Regardless, San Diego Loyal staff and I are forever grateful, and this is only motivation to push even harder. So, Austin, try to put it into words. How did it feel to be able to, after everything that you've gone through, after everything that you pushed for, finally getting to start? Maybe not the result that we wanted, but let's go with that. You still got to start to represent San Diego.
Special, man. Special. You know, I've worn multiple jerseys and represented different cities, but like, this is home. You know, this is where my family is. This is where my friends are. You know, my grandma lives 10 minutes away from where we train. Like, you know, this is my city. This is it, you know? So to be able to put on a shirt that is like my hometown, it's special. You know, I traveled the world and grinded out a career, different places, and some high and some low. And it was tough. It's difficult. You know, it's hard. It's hard being a pro. It's hard going and living in North Carolina for a year. You know what I mean? And you go somewhere and it's snowing and you don't even know what, you know maybe one guy on the team or this or that. And it's different when when you're home, because my family, it was really tough that they couldn't go to the game. Like, my dad was ready to beat the gate down, you know what I mean? But it was really cool. You know, they still televised and everything. And I think I probably had about, 50 people reach out to me before the game, like wishing me luck, just friends, family. It was incredible, man. It was a beautiful moment. And I'm so grateful for the club. I'm so grateful to everyone that made this club possible, in order to make that moment possible. You know, that's the best. That's probably the best I can do for you.
That sounds like an amazing feeling, man. That's really special.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask, what was your first impression of Landon Donovan?
Oh, man.
When you first met him. First impression. I
mean, I grew up watching this guy, like, ever since I can remember. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember a time. I really don't remember a time of soccer before, like, knowing who Landon Donovan was. You know what I mean? Like, in my head. So, like, just meeting him, it was just like, damn, dude, like, that's fucking Landon Donovan. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exactly. You know, he's like right here. Now he's just talking to me about whatever. And now our relationship's kind of grown, and, like, you know, I'm cracking jokes with him, or I'm like, hey, Landon, hit me a couple shots, you know? And he'll be like, nah, not today. Or maybe sometimes he'll hit me a couple, and that's just cool. Like, or he'll help out. A lot of times he helps out with our forwards, and, like, we'll distribute balls out to him. So, like, I'll smash him a side ball. He just, like, brings it down like nothing, you know? And it's just, like, it's really cool. And on top of that, like, he just cares, you know what I mean? And you can say that about everyone in the organization. And that's something that I've noticed, like, from, you know, our owner to everyone in the front office to the people that work game days. It's like everyone, it seems like there's just like this, everyone just really, like, genuinely cares about the club, you know? And the reality is, like, if Landon didn't want to, he doesn't need to do this, you know? He doesn't need to be there if he didn't want to do it. And so, like, he's giving back, you know? He's giving back, and he's created something that's so cool for San Diego. Like, unbelievable that there's a professional team at this level in San Diego now. And I know that this club's only going to grow. So I think this club's going to become top USL club in the country within the next I'd say less than 2 years. I just see the way it's growing. I see the way the team's improving. I mean, how many first-year teams do you see that just get smashed like game after game after game? And regardless, like, yeah, we've lost a few games now in a row, but you know what? Like, we're right there. We're right there. Exactly. You know what I mean? We're right there, and it's coming, man. It's coming, and it's just going to continue to get better every time we step on the field together. We're going to grow, you know, and the club's going to grow.
I love to hear that, man.
You mentioned you asked him, take a couple shots on me. I need to know, has he taken shots on you and has he scored, or have you blocked some shots against him?
Who's winning that matchup? Yeah. Doing the math.
I can't let you guys in on all the secrets, man. You know, like, we got to keep them. Nah,
I had to ask.
Let's just say this: he still got his shot, 100%.
All right, that sounds
fair.
He
can still smash a ball. He can still. Well, you know what? He's kind of like he places it really well now. You know, he just puts it in the corner, but you know, it's pretty even. You know, I saved some, he scored some.
All right, sounds good.
You know, it's good though. It's good.
Do you think I have a chance to stop one? Because that's the goal at this point. Like, if I stop one, I avenge everything he did to Mexico. If I stop one,
you know, it's like the thing about being a goalkeeper is if you're in net, like, you're probably gonna make a save.
Yeah.
You know, like, the reality is, like, if you're in the goal, one of them's gonna hit you. You know, like one shot's gonna hit you, man. Like, it's the odds. You know, like, if you play, you know, you're probably gonna make a save. You know, or if you're in goal or someone's shooting, you're probably gonna, you know, one's gonna come right at your face. Like, I guarantee it. It's up to you if you.
Mexico's fate depends on Tony.
It will. I mean, it because everybody else let us down against him. Because, man, that guy is something else. Yep. But Austin, there's a lot of people here in South Bay, North Bay. North Bay isn't even a thing. Jesus Christ. It's like if I'm the one that's from here too. But no, a lot of youth coming up, and even yesterday we got a chance to narrate a final here in Chula Vista. I think you guys practiced there. It was next to the Otay Ranch Mall. A couple one-on-ones. But one of our friends, Mario, is also a goalkeeper, and you know, he was like, "Hey man, like, when you talk to Austin, like, you know, just tell him, man, like, he's doing good, man, and tell him what's up, bro." But, you know, above That's that, cool. What would you tell those aspiring players, maybe especially goalkeepers? Because look, there's 11 players on the field, but only one position is a goalkeeper. It's so hard that people don't think about that. But what would you tell an aspiring goalkeeper to work on in their craft to maybe have a chance to represent their city?
You know, I get that question a lot, and what it really boils down to, especially with youth goalkeepers, is one, like, you just have to get so many repetitions. You know, It's just repetitions. But even more than that, it's just, you have to work your ass off. Like, it's a mentality. It's a goalkeeper. If you're a goalkeeper and you want to really become someone, or really make it to play club or play college or play professionally or whatever your aspirations are, you just have to work your ass off. You know, you just have to absolutely find a way, whether it's getting someone to shoot on you or, you know, if you can find a goalkeeper coach to train you. But it's like, growing up, I played for Surf, and we probably trained potentially 2 to 3 times a week with a game on Saturday, Sunday. And I was still finding a time to train 2 to 3 times a week on my own with a goalkeeper coach. So it's like, if you really want to become a good goalkeeper, it boils down to just absolute working your ass off. Like, that's it. And it's, I mean, you probably say the same thing about everything else in life, right? Like, if you want to be good at cooking, and, you know, practice or whatever, you know. And so it's like, that's the only bit of advice I could give to anyone, is just put your head down, shut up, and work hard. That's it.
I love that. Just do your job. I love
do your job. That's a big motto for us. There's another word that we put in there, but I'll save that one for
now. Oh yeah, I mean, we're not a kid show, so you can let them rip.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't know. Like, I have a pretty foul mouth, so.
Oh, bro, goalkeepers. Yeah,
let's start this thing all over again.
Yeah, no, I keep it very PG right now.
Oh no, you can lather it up. You can just spit on it, whatever you want, dude. It's up to you, bro.
We're not ESPN. We're not Fox.
All right.
I don't know if you're gonna get in trouble with Loyal, but I mean, that's on you, bro.
No. They're all good. We're all good with that.
Growing up, I mean, I know there's a lot of players that sometimes they don't watch soccer, but I don't know if you growing up maybe had a favorite goalkeeper that you kind of adapted their style, or you said, you know what, I want to play like him.
I always admired Tim Howard. I just thought he was just like sick. You know, I just always the saves he made when he was a rookie at Man United were just like mind blowing to me. That was kind of like my. I also looked up to Casey Keller. You know, he played at University of Portland, and so like Luis Robles was actually my host, and then he would talk to me about Casey, and then so there's like a cool little lineage of goalkeepers there. But I grew up watching Casey play as well, and I mean he was just so consistent, you know, and good, and so I watched him a lot. Tim Howard, obviously like Casillas was a huge influence on me, but really the guy who made me want to like fly around, and it was Jorge Campos. Like watching Campos play, I watched Campos at Qualcomm Stadium.
Yeah.
He came out like in some flamboyant shirt and like ran up and like hung on the crossbar, you know what I mean, before the game, and I just thought that guy was such a legend. Or he's, from what I understand, he's still a legend. You know, you see him jump into some of those like celebrity all-star games or whatever, and he's making saves and talking shit, and I don't know. I look up to that. That dude was always like a superhero to me, Jorge Campos. But I don't know. The list goes on and on and on. There's like Fabian Barthez, who was also at United, and that guy was sick.
Yeah.
I could talk to you about goalies all day. Oliver Kahn.
Oh, this is what I'm here for, bro. I'll listen to this
Peter
all day.
Schmeichel, like those guys, like watching Kahn, like Oliver Kahn's mentality on the field and just like the fire, you know, like that's another thing. If I could tell young goalkeepers to like just go back and look at some of the like OG goalkeepers and the mentality and like the hunger and fight that these guys would play with, and it was just like, fuck you, this is my box, like get out, you know what I mean? And that's something that kind of mentality, especially come game time, it's everything, man. It's everything. Like coming out and just smashing a guy or getting big on a 1v1 and those kind of plays. Like not only are you saving your team in the moment, but like the rest of your team is like, let's go. Yeah. You know, and so like Oliver Kahn, I think, like epitomizes that. You know.
Yeah, because I mean, the people don't realize like your job is on the line. Like again, going back, there's one of you, but if one of you lets one ball through, as amazing as the goal might be, there's still going to be some blame on you. And always, siempre,
always. And then like, you know, it's like no matter what, and especially like when you're in net, and it's like no matter what the goal is, a guy can hit a upper 90 banger from like 8 yards out or whatever, and you would have no chance. But like in your head, you're like, all right, man, maybe if I was standing there, I could have done this. Or maybe if I told my center back to move to the right, you know, a minute ago. Like there's all these little, like it's like these little specific changes that you can always do to prevent a goal. Because it's just like there's always something that you could have done, always, no matter what, no matter how good the goal is. And like it's almost to the point where like you can go crazy thinking about it. You know, you could just lose your shit thinking about, oh man, if I was like an inch over or half a step, or if I was higher or deeper, or told him to get tighter, and it's just like it could change a game. You know what I mean? So there's always something, and there's always a bit of blame. So it's like that's why you got to work your ass off, because you just have to be, you know, you have to be as close to perfect as you can.
It's funny that you mentioned Tim Howard, because he's one of my favorite American goalkeepers. Ever since I saw I went to a final between Mexico and the U.S. At Mexico 1-4-2.
Oh man!
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if you ever saw that goal by Giovanni Dos Santos.
Oh man!
Where
the one where he like put it upper 90, like in the far post.
Yeah, he like completely crapped
like,
on.
There was somebody on the line that tried to head it or something too. Yeah, I kind of remember it.
I just saw how Howard was so pissed after that goal, and like, to me,
this fool danced in your box and nobody
that's
touched
what
him.
I meant.
Stand in front of the ball, do something, like spin on him, like hey, something, not just okay, go for it. Like oh man, I felt I
Like when that
felt
happens
for
to you as a
Tim Howard.
goalkeeper, what do you do after? Like that's my
You just
question.
get up, man.
You
You
just
just get
like
up.
kind of like, all right,
you
whatever
know,
happens.
yeah, like look at
Okay.
the second goal I give up against Reno, and it's like, I lose my footing, whatever, make a poor read on the play, or it's just kind of like, you know what, man, fuck it, fuck it.
Okay,
And
I
that's
like
the
that.
kind of mentality, especially in the game, because you can analyze it all you want, but that's not going to help your team win. You know what I mean? So it's like once an error goes, or you get scored on, or whether it's your fault or not, or you could have done better, or this or that, it's like your mentality just has to be like, that's done. We're playing. I'm as soon as you let a goal or a mistake or something affect you, that's the moment where you're really fucked, because now you've stopped talking. Now you've lost confidence. Now your team's feeling like, oh shit, can I even play back to this guy right now? Or, can we depend on him? Or so, like, I think, as a goalkeeper, it's always your confidence, no matter what. You could, mess up so bad, but your confidence still has to be way up here, because the next play is coming.
Yeah.
Whether you're mentally prepared for it or not, whether your mind's still on the goal you just gave up, that ball's coming, and the forward doesn't give a fuck. They're about to smash it.
Yeah.
So it's just like something happens that didn't go your way, or you hit a long ball, goes out of bounds, or whatever it is. You can't dwell on it. It's just gone. It's just gone.
A good thing that I noticed too is after that second goal against Reno, you guys came back and you guys had some words with the team. Something that I've noticed about Loyal compared to all the other teams I've seen them play is they actually listen to their coaches, and the coaches actually talk to them. It seems so simple, but I've seen a couple of other teams, Los Dos, I've seen Vegas, where the halftime water break, and they'll have 5 guys over there, 5 guys here. No.
Yeah.
This last game, you came up, Matt came up, said good job, this and this and this, gave some instructions, you guys came together. And I think that's important, because people don't think about that. If you're up here, and it's a very lonely place up here after a goal, but if other people come up and say, hey, let's go, it might just help snap you out of it, even if you don't need it. But that's something that's very important, and it's good that I see from Loyal.
Well, it's something we stress, and it's like we talk about, like, our culture. We're still growing, and we're still becoming. The reality is we're still becoming a team, and we are a good team, but that kind of togetherness is something that we stress. Like, we come together at the end of every practice, we come together at the beginning of every practice, and it's like that kind of together mentality is, if Charlie makes a mistake, or Colin or Los or whoever, it's just kind of like, fuck it, man, you made a mistake, now we have your back. And that's the kind of mentality we try to create as a team, is just like, we're always united. We're united in every way we can be. And I think that's something that we have to continue to stress and continue to even improve on more. It's something that isn't finished, and we're still growing with that, but that's a huge emphasis for us.
Awesome.
It's funny because that same thing Tony was talking about, we talked about it when we saw a Manchester United game, Manchester against Chelsea.
Oh, yeah.
Where De Gea made some mistakes, and I told him, wow, I don't see anybody like telling him, hey, shake it off, it's fine. So it's funny how even at the highest of level of soccer, that is just as important, and sometimes the best teams in the world don't even do that. So to me, that amazes me.
Hey, goalkeepers are people too, bro. People forget that.
We got feelings. No, it's a huge, like, it's like anything else in life, where if you fuck something up, and then somebody is just kind of like gives you a couple words of encouragement, or reminds you of who you are, what you're doing, it helps, man. If one of your buddies is like, fuck it, let's go, or whatever, you're just like, all right, let's go. And it's always like, any error a player makes is always worse in their own head. And a huge mistake that a lot of players make is, like, let's say a previous game, a guy misses a wide open net, and yeah, we're fucking mad that you missed the goal, but in that player's head, now he comes into the locker room Monday thinking, fuck, all these guys hate me. You know what I mean? And that's something that we're trying to just that we don't want that. You know, we're all anyone who plays probably gonna make a mistake. You know, most likely. You know, it's gonna happen, and it's just kind of like you have to be a good team. You have to have the mentality that's like you spin it positively and say let's go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's gonna happen to everyone, and that's something that continues to grow with us as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of ask something that's a little bit more not on that topic, but going back to when you played in Mexico, I know there's a really infamous chant that a lot of Mexican supporters use that is really frowned upon. I'm not gonna say it obviously, but as a goalkeeper, when you're about to do the goal kick and you hear that you know it's coming, what goes through your mind? Do you say like "fuck it"? I don't care what they're saying.
I don't care. I don't care. Like that's like it's just like when you're in that level of when you're in a game, it doesn't matter here, there, wherever. If you're playing on Sunday, it's like you're playing the game. For me, I'm so focused on striking that ball cleanly or executing whatever tactic we're trying to put into our goal kicks. It's like, yeah, these guys are yelling something, but it's kind of like you're just in it. You're in the game so much that those chants and stuff, as funny as they are when you're at the stadium, but the reality is like for me at least, I don't even really hear it, you know.
Okay.
The worst is when you have like no fans and there's like 3 assholes behind you. That is when they're like, you know, just crushing it. You know what I mean? Like those guys I hear. But when it's like a stadium and it's like that, like it actually probably makes me hit the ball an extra 10 yards. You know what I mean? But when you have like 3 assholes heckling you, like that's a lot more stressful because you just hear it. You know, it's an empty stadium. You just hear everything. So it's like, that's the pain in the ass. That's more of a pain in the ass than having a big stadium yelled at, you know.
I just picture the Happy Gilmore scene of the guy saying, "Happy, you suck."
yeah, exactly. Like it's the worst, man. Especially for us keepers because we're just right in that zone, and they're just posted up behind the goal, drinking beers with their buddies, and just like ripping away. And they're like opening your Instagram and checking your Google and Wikipedia, and they're just like going down the line. You know, that's like that's it's. But at a certain point, though, you kind of got to just laugh at it, you know, and like. If you take it so seriously, like it is going to affect you, and you just kind of got to be like, dude, these guys are on fire. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I like that. I like banter. I like talking shit. I like in training, like telling the guys like, oh, you haven't fucking scored today, or, you know, popping off with one of the guys and picking one out one training session and being like, dude, today you're not scoring or whatever it is, you know? And like, I don't know. I like that banter. I like that. I like that kind of stuff.
Who's your favorite?
Kind of enjoy it, you know?
Who's your favorite teammate to kind of like pick on in that way, or favorite striker from the team to pick on? You're not gonna score any today.
I kind of grew up with Eric Avila, so I'm always talking shit with him, like one way or another. Me and Colin Martin, we're always talking shit, and great teammate, man, Colin Martin, and the forwards in particular. Like every time we're doing finishing, it's like. I just like to, you know, I'm talking, man. I'm always talking. Big Joe gets involved sometimes, you know, and it's a great group of guys, man. It's an incredible group of guys, and everybody understands like you know, there's times for it and there's times to not do it. You know what I mean? And you know, you obviously have to be smart about when you're talking shit to guys, but it's so fun, and the group is good, and everybody. They get it, you know. The guys get it.
You're really making me want to get into shape again and lace them up just so I can join you guys out there. Matt, before any of this happened, the pandemic, I spoke to Mac. I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to need you to give me a training session just to you know, get the juices back flowing. He's like, I got you, man. I don't think I'd keep up at all. But so in the group of you, we had Jake already, and we spoke to him about superstitions, and all goalkeepers are different.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't really believe in any of them, but there is the post gods that, you know, we sometimes have to thank them and touch them because they saved us from a goal or something. Are you any type of superstitious? Do you kind of
I
say hi
used
to
to
the
be,
post?
man. I used to be when I was playing in second division Mexico. I was huge on. I had my game day underwear, and there were like some like blue. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But I had my game day underwear, and I was like, if I don't wear these, like you create these things in your head though. And now I don't do it. But at the time, I was like, if I don't wear my game day underwear, we're gonna lose. You know what I mean? Like I have to have them like clean, ready to go, game day. These underwear, direct. I'm wearing these on game day. So like that used to be one of my things, and I think also like a lot of goalkeepers, and I went through it too when I was getting a run of play in Mexico, where it's like just try to do the same exact thing in your warm up that you did the game before, like if you won or whatever, or try and eat the same meal or all that stuff. But I don't know. As I've gotten a little bit older and been through the ringer a little bit more, I've come to kind of realize that none of that shit matters. You know what I mean? But, but yeah, in Mexico, I would see tons of like really funny stuff before games, like goalkeepers kissing the post and doing this and that. But me in particular, I'm not really a superstitious guy anymore.
I like that. But see, at once you could recognize it.
There was a time. Yeah. There was a time for sure.
From all the guys, obviously, you know, you're one of the locals with Avi, Sal, different types of locals. Have you taken anybody down to, you know, your local favorite taco shop before any of this happened, or recommendations, or have you tried to teach Beverly some English or Spanish?
Yeah, we're working on that, man. We're really working on that. And Beverly's such a cool dude. We got a cool handshake. Like, I mean, I can't even put myself in that guy's shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, the amount of respect that all of us have for Bev is like, it's nuts, man. I can't imagine. I mean, when I went to Mexico, I spoke some Spanish. You know, I wasn't fluent at the time, so I kind of get it, but like I understood. You know, I understood to good enough. And so, like, for him to come here and you know, he just continues to get better too and learn our system, and he's grasping words and concepts more and more every day. Every day he's learning. You know, and it's like, I love that guy, dude. I love that guy. But
he likes Justin Bieber.
What was the question again? Sorry, I got stuck on Bev.
Oh yeah, no. But by the way, he loves Justin Bieber and what was it, the other one? He said
Drake.
And Drake. No,
he loves Drake. Yeah, he loves Drake. We'll put Drake on the bus and stuff. Yeah.
But I was asking, you know, where have you taken some of the guys, some of the recommendations, or what's that been like?
I'm kind of like the go-to guy for like little restaurant recommendations or whatever. Or like, I mean, right now because of COVID, everything just sucks. But I always recommend Lolita's Taco Shop, and they're all over. You know, I grew up eating that. Yep. But yeah, before COVID hit, we had one little like small team outing, and we went and had beer at El Camino here in Little Italy, and just kind of hung out, got to know each other. It was like one of our first days in together, you know. So it was important for us to kind of hang out for a little bit and kind of, you know, get a vibe of the players you're now, you know, going to be with every single day. But because of COVID and all these, you know, all these different rules and this and that, like we've all had to really cut back on going out, and it's just the social aspect of being on a team now. It's just not what it was, you know. It's not what it was, and it sucks right now, and I can't wait for that to be over, because that's one of my favorite parts about, you know, being on a team, is being able to be like, all right, boys, we're going out to dinner at this place, you know, or, you know, 10 of the guys or whoever can make it, or, you know, the guys and a few of their wives or girlfriends or whatever, and we all go out to eat, and it's cool. You know, it's one of the most beautiful parts about being on the team is like that locker room, man, that locker room, and being able to not just battle together day in and day out, but like go have a beer together at Barley Mash, or, you know what I mean? And go have a burger at Rockies or something, you know, in PB. But it's like we just can't really do that stuff right now, and that's unfortunate. But, you know, it'll pass. Hopefully it passes. You know,
my recommendation is, after all this COVID shit is done, have a team outing. Make sure everybody has their passports. Go to TJ, get some tacos.
Dude, There's
And
nothing.
we're more than gladly to
TJ's
be
a
the
good
tour
time,
guides.
but we got to be split. Plus half of the guys on our team, you know, those passports and getting in and out of the country. That's just it's a roll of the dice right now with all this COVID stuff, man.
Well, once it does pass, obviously we want to make sure everybody's safe. We have a team bus we're gonna set up. It's gonna be the two of us. We've talked to Jack about it. He's down.
Sal's down.
Sal's down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say no, man. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and throw you on there, but yeah.
I mean, dude, you gotta have you had TJ tacos before? I'm not sure you have, right?
Fuck?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
man, all right.
100%.
Questions?
Wow, man, we're gonna think the whole team is gonna be on Tony. He's gonna pay for everything.
Yeah, no, they're good. You can go. I mean, Tacos El Gordo doesn't exactly hit the spot like the actual eating tacos in Mexico, but I think Tacos El Gordo is pretty authentic. You know what I mean?
Shots.
If I recommend something here that's better than Tacos El Gordo, I have a friend. He owns a taco truck in Third
our
Avenue.
sponsor.
There you go.
He is one of our sponsors for the podcast, Tacos El Vaquero.
Oh, cool.
It's in front of Three Punk Ales Brewery, so you can also have a beer there. And honestly, it's probably the best Mexican food in Chula Vista.
What's the name of it one more time?
Tacos El Vaquero.
There it is. Tacos
Yeah,
El Vaquero.
Man, great reviews on Yelp so far for him, and honestly,
Are we doing an ad in the middle of an interview?
It sounds like it, but
Yeah,
I like
alright.
it. I'm down. I'm
we're
gonna
talking
check it
about food.
out.
We're talking about
I'm
food.
huge. I'm actually about to. I got some carne asada today at
Nice.
Northgate Market, so I'm about to fire
See,
that up right
that's
now.
how I know, man. That's that you're one of us, bro. Like, like none of this,
You
none of
guys
this
will
Trader
appreciate it.
Joe's, none of this. Like, what's the other? Like, nah. I guarantee,
Carnival.
Austin has had food for less bag cereal at some point.
See that, dude? Preparada right there,
Oh,
dude.
papá
That's
estamos.
You got the fire too, man.
It's ready to go. That's dinner tonight.
My brother worked at Norgate for like 5 years, and he was
Such a
actually
cool
like,
market.
Oh, sorry. I go to Whole Foods. Oh, let me go to Sprouts and Trader Joe's. You know, it's at
"El
Northgate, bro.
Norgate.
Yeah, Northgate's fire, man. Unbelievable service. Great. It's clean. It's good. It's good prices. You know,
Yep.
I love Northgate.
Northgate sponsor?
That'd be
I mean,
fire.
I'm
That'd be
down.
great sponsored. Honestly, we could do a little meet and greet over there. Sign a few autographs outside.
There we go.
Simple, man.
I love
Boom.
this. I love this. Got a couple last questions just to bring it back home. Just to get a little bit about, you and what you like and what you've remembered through this journey in your soccer career. We usually ask what's one of your favorite goals that you've scored as a kid that nobody was there for, but
Yeah.
you're a goalkeeper.
Change it up a
so what's
Probably save.
one of the best saves, your favorite save, the one that like you didn't even believe you got to, like the one you remember?
There's a couple that jump out in my head, and one was my debut, my professional debut with Estudiantes de Altamira, and we played against Necaxa, who had like quadruple our payroll, and like we come from like this little small town, tiny little stadium. Amazing club though, where Altamira, what was an amazing club, they changed to Tapachula. But when I played against Necaxa, I was just like, dude, this is a whole nother level. They just come down from first division, and I made a huge save off the corner kick in my debut. But then they scored like another 3 goals on me, so it was pretty rough. But that save, and then I was playing with Altamira. This is when I was just kind of getting my playing time going again. We went to play against Tigres, who I was on loan from Tigres to Altamira at the time. And at Tigres, I just I got very good at Tigres, but I never got my shot, or whatever you want to call it. I just didn't get an opportunity to play with the first team. I played reserve games and all that, which is great, but I never got stadium time. And so going back to play against Tigres at Tigres in like that massive stadium, and it was a cup game, but there was still probably like 35,000 people there. And it was just like, this is professional soccer, like this is the the kid's dream that's playing on the street right now. That's like, dude, I want to play in this massive stadium in front of all these people and like the lights and the cameras and like the cheerleaders and the, you know, like the smoke bombs going off and flares. And so like I got that opportunity to play against Tigres at Tigres, and one of my buddies, you know, because I was there before, he stepped up, Quito Vinegra. I don't know if you know that name. Mm-hmm. He steps up to take a free kick from about, I don't know, 25 yards out, puts it over the wall, and I shuffle over and get way up and tip it over the crossbar. And that save, I think I'll never, you know, that one's going to stick around in my mind until I die. And that was huge. That was a huge one.
Free kick saves are some of the most underrated saves. Sometimes goalkeepers put a little bit too much where it's like in the middle, but we just fly for the picture.
Yeah, that was one of those for sure. It was one of those for sure. I really like aired out for that. It was probably like not totally necessary, but
how good did it feel?
Felt good. You know, that felt good, and then the entire Tigres team came up to me afterwards, like, "Yeah, good save, bro." You know, because at the end of the day, like you spend a year with the team or whatever, and it's like you build that bond, and like, you know, at that time, it was a cup game. Probably like all the guys that I was grinding out reserve training sessions with, you know, every day they were playing, mm-hmm. and so like they see their boy that was in net, you know, day in and day out make a 6 save, like they still want to be like, "Damn, dude, you save," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was a special one.
It's all love, man. I love hearing these stories just when, you know, because they're immediate. When I ask them, you already know the first one that pops up or second one pops up. Those are the ones that are always the best stories.
Quick question though, did you get to meet Tuca?
Yeah, man. I mean, I was under Tuca I was with him for almost a year and a half.
So how is he? Like, I mean, he looks like a grumpy guy.
He's one of the coolest dudes. Like, and at the time, I was just a young guy, and like, I've obviously grown a lot as like a human, not just a soccer player, but like I was timid when I first got to Tigres. Like, understandably, it was Tigres, and I was like this 22-year-old kid with no professional experience. Like, I barely even knew who Tuca was. But every time I saw him off of the field, he was just like, "Hey, Austin, how you doing? What's going on? How you know, is everything good?" Da, da, da. You know, like he would talk to me, and I thought, looking back at the time, I was like, "Oh shit! Like, what do I even say to Tuca or whatever?" Like now, if I saw him, it'd be totally different. Yeah. You know, I just have a different mentality, but he was cool, man. He was super cool, man. He was super cool guy, good guy, and but on the field, he's a different animal. You know, he expects perfection, and if you don't do that, you're gonna hear about it. You know, like I remember drills in particular where I'd be doing shooting with like Lucas Lobos and Damian Alvarez and Juninho and like all these guys that were just like hitting Hector Mancia. Like these guys are just smashing rockets, and I'm making some saves, and he goes, "Can't you catch a fucking ball?" And I'm just like, dude, like unreal. You know what I mean? Like unreal. And but like it makes me think like, damn, man, maybe. You know what I mean? And then boom, maybe I catch one or I don't or whatever. But his expectations of his players are just like, if a right wing back or right mid is mishits a cross in a training drill, it's like they're gonna hear about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like it creates a level of expectation that really makes games easier. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because if you're in practice and you're like sweating bullets because you know your coach is about to rip you, it kind of makes you go like, when you get in the game, you're almost like, this fool can't rip me right now. Like, I'm free. You know? And he's still going to rip you. Like, you're still going to hear about it. Like, you're going to hear about it either right there on the field, halftime, or in film. But at the given moment, you're like, oh, all right, cool. Like, you know, I'm not going to get ripped right now or whatever, you know. But yeah, that was an amazing experience. And I remember shaking Tuca's hand. They smashed us at Tigres. They beat us 3-1. And then I said, you know, I shook Tuca's hand after the game, and it was all love. And then Tigres came to Altamira, and we smashed them. And they played all their, you know, Enrique Palos played in goal. They had Jimenez on the field, Alvarez, like all these big time players at the time, and we beat them 3-1. We beat them. We flipped it 3-1, and I think we lost to Querétaro in group or whatever, but like that was huge. And I remember shaking Tuca's hand after that game, and I had a huge game, like made some massive saves and, you know, did a job. And I remember like him coming up to me after the game and kind of congratulating me. And that was really cool. And that was really special to me because, you know, he's such a big time coach, you know?
Oh, definitely.
That's awesome.
Pressure is what makes diamonds, man. And so you put you guys under pressure. It's something when usually that's how you know you're in a good team, when the practices and the trainings are much tougher than the games themselves, because then you've been practicing all week and you've been killing yourselves. Then you walk through a team, you're like, oh, like they're okay. Well, I guess we're back to training.
Yeah, but he's famous for like ripping players apart and yelling at them. So
yeah, it's part of the game, man. It's just part of it, you know. Like you get ripped, and it's like that's the difference between guys that continue to grow as players and guys that kind of stay where they're at. Is they're able to take that criticism, whether it's the coach just saying calmly or a coach screaming their head off at you, like that. You just have to be able to absorb like the information, you know, one way, however it's delivered, like fucking learn it and then grow, you know, or don't and get off the team like that. That's kind of like the way I see it as a soccer player. Like you can either try and learn or kind of be a little bitch about it, you know?
Yeah, straight up.
Exactly. And I love that. It's that tough love. In this age, sometimes we forget about that, you know, these guys are tough. Like you gotta just, like I said, just stand up and just go get it again and just don't complain and forget about the last play because you just can't.
Get up, man. Just get up. You gotta get. That's a huge saying for me. Is like no matter what I'm training or life or whatever, you know, you're gonna get obviously beat up or knocked down or whatever, and it's just get up, man. Just fucking get up, and that, you know, that's kind of like a mentality I've always had.
I love it, man. One last question, bro, before we let you go. What is in the locker room right now? Obviously, the results haven't been coming as we'd all like, but I know you guys are just training hard. Like you said, it's there, it's right there. The blueprint is set, the formula's done. It's just the execution of it, and it's gonna happen. But for those who are watching and here in San Diego, maybe some people are new to the sport, new to soccer, but like to those people who are like, okay, what's going on? Like, when's the bang gonna happen? What's going on?
First of all, like you have to understand that losing for us is like it fucking hurts so bad that it just like it rips us apart. Every single one of us, from our staff to the guys who don't even make the 18. Everyone's pissed when we lose. Everyone feels it. No matter who you are on the team, no matter what your position, role, everyone is. And so imagine that multiplying 3 times, you know? Yeah. And so guys we're fired up about our next game. We're fired up about our next opportunity. And these last few haven't gone our way, you know? And so that fire is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's, you know, we try to control it to the point where, you know, we're not in bad moods and we don't allow it to affect us in a negative way. But the locker room right now is like, it's hungry. Yeah. Like the guys are, if you would have seen our training session today, guys are fucking flying into tackles, yelling at each other. The intensity's at an all-time high. And it's because, like what we talked about earlier on in the interview, like we just care, man. Everybody on this team, they give a shit. And so every time we lose, like it's like the best way it's like a piece of us is like dying, you know, like it hurts so bad. And that fuel, if you're able to just say, fuck it, let's go, get up, and we go, and we go, and we go, and we go, and we build, and we grow, and we build, and we learn. And so right now, like the locker room, the best word I can give you to describe it is just hungry.
Love to hear it, man, because again, we're not just here doing this and interviewing stuff. We like the team. We're fans of the team themselves. And we can tell that you guys have been just working your asses off, you know, in the small clips that don't really tell us anything. You can tell that everybody's hard at work and they want this. And, you know, again, we can say all we want, but what we are shown and what we see, that's when it tells the real story. Yeah. And results at the end obviously is what we go for. But what matters is that we are seeing that growth, especially for a team in its infancy and a team in its first season, 9 games in, with injuries coming after a wild break from a pandemic. I mean,
Yeah.
I as a fan, for me personally, I'm happy with what I've seen, and I want to just thank you and everybody there que le está echando huevos. That's putting 110% in it, man.
Every day. It's like our motto is just, compete, man. We just compete and that fight. And I promise you that this club and this team in particular is just going to continue to grow, and the results are going to come. But that competition and fight and spirit is something that our culture is just all about. It's all about every day, every game, every practice, every part of every practice, whether it's a passing drill or a 5v5 game or whatever. Every player on the team right now is fighting for every single inch and wants to win every competition. It's just like, and that is what makes a team eventually win something or do something special, And that mentality it's our team in a nutshell, man. Like, we're just going to fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and continue to grow.
And keep at it, man, because that's what we're here for. We're here to support, bro. And hasta cuando no, even when not, bro, sometimes you just got to talk shit too. Like, hey, man, what's going on? But for right now, again, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you, Austin, for your time. Go ahead and just stick around after we stop recording, see if we can wrap it up. But again, thank you for everything you've done, man. Congratulations on coming back home, representing your city, representing your country. I always like number 1 goalkeepers over anything. So good job on getting number 1 goalkeeper jersey on that.
I don't even know how that happened, man. That was blind luck, but I'm happy to wear it, and I know that's a huge number to wear, and I wear it with it's the responsibility, man, to be honest,
Absolutely, man. And we're going to go ahead and hopefully see you guys out there get a win this Saturday against Orange County, those no good Orange Countyers. But yeah, so thank you again, man. Really appreciate it, and hopefully we can get you back soon.
No problem. Anytime, man. Anytime.
Thank you, man.
Cool. And we're
All right.
done recording.